Today we are going to talk about books, a lot of books. Hi everyone, this is Liza. Welcome back to Eliza's Bookshelf. Today we are going to talk about books, a lot of books. Books that are going to be released in October. I'm going to separate it by genre. First, I'm going to talk about all the spooky reads like mystery, thriller, horror, and then I'll talk about romance books, and then I'll talk about miscellaneous books. Basically books like fantasy or literary fiction, things like that I didn't have many to go over, so I just put it all in one big pile. So first I want to talk about the mystery, thriller, horror section because it is October, it is Halloween time, so these are all the books that'll put you in the mood for spooky season. I'll go over it by release date and let's just get started. Number one is The Flock by J. Todd Scott. This is going to be released on October 1st, which I thought was odd because that's like on a weekend or something like that. Anyways, this is like an occult type of suspenseful thriller about this woman named Sibylla Lohr. Short name is Billy. She goes by Billy, and she was part of this cult that she escaped from, and this is like her surviving on her own, having a quiet life, having a husband and a daughter. But some wild things start happening, and she's like, wow, was the leader of my cult true about his predictions about the end of the world and stuff like that? And so weird things starts happening. Her husband is murdered, her daughter is kidnapped, and so she has to return to this cult and see what exactly is going on, trying to find answers there. So that's pretty interesting. The next one I want to talk about is called The Lovely Girl by Deborah Holt Larkin, if I pronounced that right. And this is going to be released on October 4th. It's a true crime book about this woman named Olga who was murdered. And I was interested in this book because I don't know if you guys heard of this murder mystery. I certainly haven't, and so I read about it. It actually took place in California, in like Santa Barbara and stuff like that. There's this woman named Olga with her husband, and she's pregnant, and she just has like this weird relationship with the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law is like super close to the son, doesn't like Olga at all, tries to separate them numerous times, and then next thing you know, Olga goes missing. And spoiler alert, she is actually found dead. And so, you know, it actually delves into this relationship of the mom with the son. It's just kind of weird. So I want to delve into that. Number one, I have never heard of this murder mystery. Number two, it took place in California, so I am intrigued. Next one I want to talk about is Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. This comes out in October 4th as well. It is a horror mystery thriller. Basically, this girl named Liz, she is finally coming home to her hometown because one of her childhood friends, I believe, is getting married. And that friend, who is the bride, during the wedding, her daughter actually goes missing. And so everyone's trying to figure out where the girl is. They're having all this, you know, search rescue party and things like that. And then Liz starts thinking, you know, this sounds familiar. And she thinks back to her past in this hometown about another person who was kidnapped, another girl who was kidnapped. And when they found that girl, actually it was like very gruesome. Her chest cavity was open, her insides were taken out and stuff like that. And so now she's thinking, is this a repeat? Is this going to happen to my friend's daughter as well? So they're racing against time, trying to find her, trying to figure out if this is, you know, a serial killer. And what is crazy is that all the similar cases are actually Black children, Black girls. So you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. So it sounds super creepy. Oh, I just can't wait. Next one is Curse of the Reaper by Brian McCauley. This comes out October 4th as well. October 4th is like so crazy. So many books are coming out. But anyways, October 4th. This is also like horror thriller type of book. It is marketed as Scream/The Shining. You have this guy named Howard who used to be this star of a slasher movie, and for the longest time after that, he's just known for that movie. He signs autographs for like old fans and things like that. And so years later, they are making a reboot, and he really wants to, you know, be a big part of this, but they're casting this other guy, Trevor, as the main character to kind of like bring back this movie. So Howard's not happy about that, and he's trying to fight for this role, but some creepy things start happening. He's trying to do method acting. He's acting crazy. I don't know. It's just so crazy. It really does sound like Scream meets The Shining. So that is cool. I think this is his debut novel, but Brian McCauley is already a writer for a lot of movies and things like that. The next one is called It Rides a Pale Horse by Amy Marino. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen this around, but I've seen it a lot throughout, like, you know, websites and Bookstagram and stuff like that. It comes out October 4th. It is also horror mystery. You have the set of twins, the Larkin twins. One goes by the name of Lark for short. The other girl, I don't know. But anyways, they have really different personalities and they're both artists, I believe. The guy named Lark, he really likes a quiet life. He made a name for himself as an artist and he came home to live at the hometown. But he's still very well off and he gets commissioned to do another piece of artwork. And he's like, you know, I don't really want to do this. I'll pass. But then the person, I don't know, the person who is trying to hire him shows him a live feed of his sister getting kidnapped. And they're like, don't worry, your sister is safe, but she won't be unless you do these sculptures for us, right? Like, do your artist type of thing and do these sculptures for us. And so he finds out that whatever he's doing is actually part of a demonic cult type of stuff. Actually, I don't know. I think he's supposed to like follow some instructions and make a sculpture. Anyways, so it sounds super interesting and creepy and atmospheric, but I do hear that if you're not really into gory type of books or imagery and things like that, then maybe pass on this one. But if you're into that, also take note, I heard there was like animal gore too. I'm not sure if I'm into that, but I heard really good things about this book from people who have already read it. So there's that. Just take caution with that one. Next one is also getting released in October 4th. October 4th. Oh my gosh, just take note. It is called Malice House by Megan Shepherd. It is like a gothic, suspenseful, supernatural horror type of thing. Basically, you have this woman named Haven Maybury. Her father recently passed away and her father like writes books and stuff like that. She does too, I believe. But anyways, her father passed away. She is returning to his house, which is called Malice House. I don't know why you would want to call your house that, but anyway, so she goes back to his house and is trying to clean up things, get things sorted out, and she finds like a manuscript or something of short stories, I believe, of his, and she's like, oh, maybe this is a good opportunity to make one last, you know, creation, father-daughter type of thing. So he wrote the manuscript, I'll do illustrations. So she's reading his little book and she's making creepy illustrations, and then weird things start happening in the house. And she remembers back like, oh, my dad did say this house was haunted, but I never believed him. I thought he was just like, you know, demented and stuff like that. But so weird things happen around the house. So if you're a fan of like supernatural haunted house type of things, then read this one. Things happen like, you know, something is pulling on her feet. She's hearing scratches along the wall. So that sounds like my cup of tea. Next one is called The Witch in a Well by Camilla Bruce. It also comes out October 4th. Surprise, surprise. But basically, there's these two ex-best friends who are coming back into their childhood home where centuries ago there was a woman who was prosecuted and killed because they suspected her of witchery, and they threw her into the well where children were last seen. So the main woman, Elena, she is looking more into the story and trying to figure out what exactly happened about that history. Her ex-best friend is also someone who was interested in the story a long time ago. So now they're both kind of racing to figure out who can find information about it first. Next one is called The Dark Between the Trees by Fiona Barton. This is released October 11th, and this is like a horror fiction type of book as well. Centuries ago as well, you have this group of men who went into the woods for something and only two came back out. And when they came back out, they had like weird stories about the trees, like trees moving, trees disappearing, and something in the woods hungry. And so you don't really know what happened, but present day, there's this group of people who really wants to find out what is going on in this, you know, forest, this group of trees. So they're going in there. So I'm excited about that. Next book I want to talk about is Little Eve by Catriona Ward. She had another book that came out earlier this year that was really popular, and I've seen a lot of people pick it up and love it. I think it was a hit and miss for some people, depending on what type of books you like. I tried to get into it and I thought it was just okay. Maybe I need to give it a try again and just like, you know, listen to the first few chapters. But Little Eve sounds a little bit different. I don't know if I mentioned this, is coming out on October 11th as well as Gothic Horror. But basically this Little Eve girl and a couple of other characters too, they are part of this cult, and they have this leader who is named Uncle. Little Eve is set to inherit this uncle's power, but anyways, there's some sort of like ceremony that they're trying to set up and it goes horribly wrong. There's this big murder that happens, so people are actually coming in to this house, this cultish house, and try to investigate what actually happened. And so it delves into a lot of horrors of that, you know, group, that cult. but I don't know. I feel like I am gravitating more towards this book of Catriona Ward's because the cover looks really nice and creepy. It's like a house, a dark house, and that's really all I need to get sucked into like a horror book, really. The next one sounds really creepy. It is called A Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson, and it's coming out in October 11th as well. It's about this family, mainly this woman and her son, because she is trying to escape this abusive marriage, and she doesn't really know how to escape until she found out that one of her ancestors, I don't know, her dad, grandfather, whoever, right, passed away and is passing down their home to her. So she goes away to this faraway land, and when she gets there, she finds out it's like a farm with a lot of acres, and it's really like desolate, but she's like, hey, I'm at least away from this abusive partner of mine. So she stays there. She's trying to make a good life. But she hears scratching on the walls. The land is like eerily quiet, faint whispering at night as well. So something weird is going on. I think this book is about this ancient evil that is power hungry, trying to steal your souls and stuff like that. So it sounds really creepy. I'm excited. Next on this list is actually one of my book of the month picks. It is called The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. It comes out October 18th. It's kind of like a suspenseful mystery thriller type of thing. If you've watched that movie called Knives Out, this sounds like a similar vibe. If you haven't watched Knives Out, then I really encourage you to, because that was really exciting. Basically, you have this couple. You have Harry and her soon-to-be husband Edward. Edward is from this family who he doesn't really want anything to do with, but he is set to inherit everything, so they're coming back to this family. One of the family members hands Harry something like an envelope that, or a cassette tape, something like that, and she opens it and she finds this crazy revelation about the family, and then it sets this game in motion. I'm not sure what type of game it is, but it sounds just like Knives Out. My copy is coming early October, so I'm hoping to read that. I only have like 5 books left to read for my last badge. Anyway, so that comes out October 18th. The next one also sounds creepy. All of these sound creepy, honestly, but the next one sounds great. It is a domestic thriller called Keep It in the Family. It comes out October 18th as well. It is by the author John Mars. It's a domestic thriller because you have this couple. They're like, I think the woman is pregnant. They're moving into their house together, and then all of a sudden they see something that says, save them from the attic. So they're trying to figure out what exactly happened in the attic, and they realize that the house was a part of like a family house of horrors type of deal. So a lot of crazy things happened in their house, and they're trying to figure out, oh, do they still want to live here? You know, I don't know. Are they safe? So yes, we'll see. It's marketed as a domestic thriller, so I don't know if anything's going on with the husband part of the couple. I don't know, we'll see. Lavender House by Lev Ak Rosen also comes out in October 18th. It is also marketed as a Knives Out, but with a queer historical twist. So crazy. So basically the matriarch of this house passed away. And, you know, inside this house, all the family members can live the way they want, you know, queer, whatever. But to do that, they kind of like keep their own secrets and keep everyone out of the house, and they don't let anyone in. And because this matriarch died, they're like, oh, okay, someone killed her. The murderer is still inside the house somewhere. We don't know who it is. So they hire a detective from outside to come in and figure it out. So it sounds pretty crazy. So the next one is A Sign Here by Claudia Lux, and it comes out October 25th. It is horror fantasy. Also one of my book of the month picks. So this book is about this demon named Pei, short for Peyote Trip, and he's like this regular old working demon in the pits of hell. He's working on the 5th floor of his building. He, you know, has like a broken coffee machine, and it's just crazy. Just imagine like a demon in hell, but with a regular 9-to-5 job. He needs one last member of this Harrison family to sell their soul. And when he finds out that this Harrison family is going off to the lake for a family retreat, he's like, this is perfect. This is my chance. But nothing is as it seems. There's a lot of like secrets uncovered, a lot of consequences. It just sounds like a new type of book or a new concept that I never heard of before, so I'm super excited for that. That comes out October 25th. Next one is Behind Her Lives by Brianna Cole, also coming out October 25th. It is a psychological thriller type of book. So basically, you have the sister who is sent to identify the body of her sister who was like a victim of suicide. But when she gets there, she's like, this is not my sister, you know? So you don't know what's going on there. I guess they were estranged and they don't really know much about each other anymore, but she's trying to figure out, you know, who her sister is now, where is she actually dead, or is she trying to hide? I don't know. So it sounds crazy. It is a psychological thriller. It comes out October 25th. Last one is also a psychological thriller. It is called The Dark Room by Lisa Gray. It comes out October 25th as well. You have this guy who's like an ex-crime reporter. He is retired. He's just like retreating to his hobbies and things like that. And so he's developing a lot of film of like old pictures that he's taken, and he sees the murder of this woman, and he's like, that can't be right. This woman was murdered 5 years ago. I should know, I was there. And so he's trying to figure out what exactly happened 5 years ago to this woman, if she was actually not dead and now she's dead. I don't know, it's just so crazy. But another psychological thriller. Sounds great, sounds amazing. I hope you found something that you liked in that list of mystery, thriller, horror. But if you're like me, you're kind of like a mood reader. If you read a lot of horror or suspense, you get kind of tired of it and you want something light and fluffy. Well, say no more, because now I'm going into my romance releases in October. So in October, even though it is like spooky season, a lot of holiday romances are getting released. First on our list is The Christmas Clash by Susanna Park. This one is a YA holiday romance type of book that is released on October 5th. You have these two nemesis, so it's kind of like an enemies to lovers type of story. Chloe Kwan and Peter Lee, they like super hate each other. I don't know, but they both work in this mall, and they find out that this mall is going to be demolished, and they're trying to figure out what to do to help save it. You know, in time for holidays and things like that. So they have to work together, and, you know, I guess they put aside their differences and actually become friends, or maybe more. So that sounds super cute. I met Susanna Park in San Diego when I was going to that book signing event, and she's so sweet. She gave me extra bells and stuff and extra trinkets to give to my kids. I was like, I have 2 kids. Can I have more? She's like, take it all. So yes, that is coming out October 4th. Next one is So This Is Christmas by Jenny Holiday, and it also comes out October 4th. It's basically a part of her Royal Christmas series. You have this grumpy American who's coming to Eldovia and trying to figure things out with the king there. And you have the straight-laced royal advisor who is like, who is this woman? And, you know, what do I do with her and her personality? He doesn't really know. As they work together to return Eldovia to its former glory in time for the holiday season or the Christmas season, they actually get to know each other and get along better, but can they put aside their like cultural differences and, I don't know, be together? Who knows? Next one is Once Upon a December by Amy Reinhart, also released in October 4th. This is another adult contemporary romance, holiday themed, but you have this woman who is coming off of a divorce. Her name is like very Christmassy. Her name is Astral Noel Snow, and so she is used to coming or like living with this holiday themed type of whatever, right? And she meets this guy named Jack Clausen, and she's all for, you know, just like living, having time of life, drinking, meeting people, things like that, right? So she meets this guy, Jack Clausen, and they hit it off. They have a string of Christmassy themed dates, but they're trying to figure out if they can last outside of the Christmas season. So it sounds very, I don't know. It sounds kind of Hallmarky to me, but it didn't say that. Just Like Magic is a book by Sarah Hogel, and it comes out October 4th as well, another holiday romance. And I haven't read Twice Shy, but I heard a couple of good things about that book. Anyways, this is also by Sarah Hogel. It's about this woman named Betty. She's like super rich, but not like on her own terms. It's like with her family and stuff like that. Something happened with her family, but they cut her off. And so now she's like, oh shoot, what am I doing, right? And her friend is like with her singing Christmas songs and stuff like that, and conjures up this man named Hall. And so when I read that, I was like, is this like a magical type of fantasy romance book? Like, is this person real? So I'm not too sure about that. But apparently this Hall guy is like the perfect guy. She's like bringing him home to her family and things like that. Through Hall, through this perfect guy, she's learning a lot of like how to be selfless and how to have a Christmas spirit. But she's wondering if after the holidays are over, will she continue living this selfless life? Will she still channel this Christmas spirit into her long-lasting life? I don't know, we'll see. Next one is Bad Girl Reputation by Elle Kennedy, and it comes out October 4th. I actually read this one already like a couple months ago when I got it as an art off of, what's it called, NetGalley. This is number 2 in the Avalon Bay series, and I like this one. When we follow one of the brothers from the first book, we already knew that he had something going on with his past relationship. Basically, he had this girlfriend in high school, and they were really bad together. I mean, they liked each other, but they got into a lot of trouble, you know, with the police and stuff like that. And so his girlfriend left him, went to another city, basically ghosted him, right? And so he's really bitter about that. But she comes back into town because of a like family death. And so she's sticking around, and they're trying to figure out how they fit together now. Like, will they get back together? Will they still be bad for each other? Are they gonna try to work some things out? So there's that. I really like this one. I like the Avalon Bay series in general, and I do know that Elle Kennedy has another book that is going to be released next year. It has like the same type of cover feel as the Avalon Bay series here, so I don't know if it's going to be a continuation. I thought it was going to be like a duology, but I guess we'll see. So yes, that comes out October 4th. Another one that comes out October 4th, another holiday one. This one is called All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox. This one sounds really cute. It's about these two contestants on a singing show. The singing show is called Star Maker. Anyway, so you have Sadie, you have Max, and they're both contestants. They're singing on the show, but they have such good like on stage chemistry that all the fans are like, we want you singing together. So they have to basically work together, and they form this sort of fake dating relationship type of deal so that they can get more fans. The only thing though, the only problem is that they hate each other. They can't stand each other. So this is like a opposites or enemies to lovers singing romance called All I Want for Christmas. So it's during the holiday season. So we have a lot of holiday books. The next book is Everyone Hates Kelsey Miller by Meredith Ireland, if I am pronouncing it right. It comes out October 11th. This is a YA romance book, and it's a little bit like enemies to lovers romance as well. You have these two classmates, or like, you know, schoolmates, whatever. You have Kelsey Miller, and then you have Eric Mulvaney Oritz, and they're both trying to find their person. Kelsey is trying to find her best friend who left her, and Eric is trying to find his ex-girlfriend who also left him, but they're both trying to figure out where they actually went. And so they team up, and through this partnership, they're actually realizing that what they actually need is right next to them, each other. So yeah, that sounds pretty cute. The cover looks amazing as well, so I'm excited for that one. Next one is called One Last Gift by Emily Stone, and this is also coming out on October 11th. It is a holiday romance type of book. It's not like a rom-com fluffy type of romance, so bear that in mind. I believe Emily Stone's books are a little bit more on the serious side. Cassie and Tom are siblings, and then they have like Sam, who is Tom's best friend. Anyways, Cassie and Tom lost their parents at a young age, and so they're always like there for each other while they're growing up. Fast forward years later, Cassie actually loses Tom through like some traumatic event as well. So she lost her brother, and then now Sam comes back into the picture, and I don't know where Sam went, but there was like a gap period where Sam was not in the picture. Anyway, so he comes back, and he's trying to be there for Cassie through this hard time. And he gives her an envelope that she knows right away what this envelope is. It's like the first clue to a scavenger hunt that Tom used to do with Cassie all the time during the holidays. So it sounds super sweet, sounds super heartbreaking, but if I'm in the mood to, you know, because I have to be in the mood to read a sad romance, but if I'm in the mood, I will definitely pick up One Last Gift by Emily Stone. Emily Stone had another holiday themed book that came out last year or 2 years ago that my young son actually picked out for me from Target, so that's really cute. I haven't yet read it, but I just have to be in the mood for Emily Stone's books, I believe, because they're kind of on the serious, sadder side. Next one I'm kind of hesitant about, but it's called Before I Do by Sophie Cousins. It is a like chick lit type of book, comes out October 11th as well. The reason why I'm kind of hesitant about it is because I don't know if I can get on board with this story. You have this woman named Audrey, and she's getting ready to marry Josh. But before the wedding, like the rehearsal dinner, she actually sees her ex, or I don't know if they're really together, but he's like the one who got away, named Fred. And so she's trying to figure out if this is a sign that she should not get married to Josh. The reason why I don't really know if I want to read it or not is because I'm like, you agreed to marry this man, you've been with him forever, your wedding is tomorrow, why are you having doubts now just because you saw this guy that you had like a little fling with long time ago? So I don't know if I like that type of story, but I'm willing to give it a try because I heard really good things about this book on Goodreads, so it sounds like they did something right with the storyline. Sophie Cousins has a couple of other books out too. I believe I picked one of them up before and I did like it, so we'll see. So the next book is called Partners in Crime by Alicia Rai. It comes out October 18th, and it is an adult romance book. It sounds super cute and exciting. Basically, you have this woman who's like in her mid-30s. She's working as an accountant. She has a stable job. She's like over her 20s, whatever, right? When she needs to do wild things. She just wants a nice, quiet life with a partner. So she turns to like a matchmaking type of app that deals with Indian culture and stuff like that. She gets matched with this guy named Naveen. Everything is going perfect until she finds out that her aunt is passed away, or something happened, right? Something suspicious happened, and so she has to move to Las Vegas and try to figure it out. So she's sucked into this like world of kidnappers, art thieves, hackers, and stuff like that, crazy stuff. And Naveen is like along for the ride, and she's just trying to hope that he is not scared away, because you know they both wanted this quiet life and all this crazy stuff is happening. She's trying to figure out if he will stay with her. So it sounds super cute. That comes out October 18th. Next book is called A Cosmic Kind of Love by Samantha Young, coming out October 18th. Also an adult romance, but with a twist. This one sounds super new, like a new type of idea that I've never heard of in a romance book. You have this event planner named Haley, and through this, you know, new client, the bride is like sending her a lot of messages about like ideas that she wants for her wedding. But through all of these materials that she actually gets videos of the bride's like ex-boyfriend, I believe. So she gets to know more about this ex of the bride's named Christopher. He's like an astronaut and stuff like that. And so she like sends him a message because he's cute. Anyway, so they start a little thing, and he's like adjusting to life on Earth again. And so they're just like bouncing back and forth with emails, video mails, and stuff like that. They're learning more about each other and slowly falling in love without ever meeting. When they finally meet, they're trying to figure out if they can make it work, you know, after learning each other's baggages. So there's more to it than that, I believe, but that sounds super cute. Next one is from an author that I've read books from before, but this is her first book into the adult romance. I've read another book of her that's like YA romance, but it's called Built to Last by Erin Hahn, and this one comes out in October 18th as well. So basically you have these three friends, right? And they were co-stars in a show a long time ago. They're breaking out of that, you know, stardom, and the main girl's named Shelby. She wants to like settle down and create roots in this hometown. The problem is one of her ex-child co-stars and stuff like that they get along very well. They could be something more if he didn't always run off and do like documentaries outside and stuff like that. So yeah, one of their co-stars is trying to like mingle and matchmake them and set them up, trying to make everything fall into place. So he's coming up with an idea of like this home renovation TV series that they can all work together with, so that they can bring them all together and finally make things happen. It's called Homemade, the home renovation show. And so yeah, it sounds super cute. It is her first book into the adult romance game, so I'm excited to see if her writing has changed. Next one is called Paris, Dalen Court is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall. This comes out October 18th as well, and this is the author of Boyfriend Material, so I know that book was super popular. This one is centered around like a baking show contest, so that's super exciting. I love baking. I just wish I was good at it. I want to make like cakes and cupcakes all the time, but whenever I make it, it doesn't turn out good and no one wants to eat it except for me. So yes, this is centered around a baking show, and he meets like this other baking contestant. That contestant is like the, you know, supposed to be the enemy, the competitor, but he's super cute and kind with a lot of confidence that he wishes he had. And so Paris, I think he has to deal with a lot of his past insecurity. He has to deal with like the hecklers, the fan base and stuff like that. It gets pretty intense, but I'm excited to read this and see what it's about. Next one is a big anticipated read for me. It is called It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. It comes out October 18th. I'm just counting down the days to October 18th. This follows the main character Lily and Atlas. So if you haven't read It Ends With Us, I think you should. If you haven't read It Ends With Us, there will be big spoilers, but this, It Starts With Us, follows Lily and Atlas. So I know a lot of people were fans of Atlas of the first book. Honestly, after rereading it again in, I don't know, September, August, whatever, after rereading it again, I was not really a big fan of either Ryle or Atlas. They were just there. I didn't have like great obsessions with any of them, but I'm hoping with this, you know, I'll feel more for Atlas and Lily together. This is like a second chance romance. I just hope that, you know, Lily finally gets her happily ever after, because she deserves it. Next is kind of like a hodgepodge of genres. It's like a sprinkle of here and there. It was not enough to create its own little, you know, group, so I just put them all in this group. So I have like 5 books of other mixed genres that I am excited for in October. So number 1 is Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. This one comes out on October 4th. It's kind of like a contemporary fiction type of book with a hint of mystery. So I read her book called The Pact a long time ago, and it was one of my favorite books. This one sounds really interesting and riveting. So you have Olivia and her son Asher, and then you have this other family with Lily and her mom. They like come together into this town and they meet each other. Lily and Asher, you know, fall for each other. They start dating, whatever, right? But one day Lily turns up dead, and who is blamed? Asher. Olivia is adamant that her son Asher did not do it, but she's kind of like getting flashbacks into her like past husband's temper, and it's like, oh, can my son really be capable of that sort of stuff? So it sounds really crazy. A lot of like family secrets, family drama. I actually might pick this one up in October, actually. It sounds good. Next one is called Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. This one comes out October 4th, and she is the author of A Little Fires Everywhere. I haven't read that one yet. I know it turned into a show, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I read her other book, Everything We Never Told You, or something like that, right? And I loved it. And so this new book is coming out, and Bird is growing up in this time that's just like crazy dangerous for him. People are allowed to relocate children, especially those of Asian origin, and types of books that are seen as unpatriotic are just taken off the shelves, including those of his mom, who is a Chinese American poet who left the family when he was 9 years old. When he grows older though, he does get this envelope that contains a drawing. So it draws him into this quest of finding his mom again and dealing with that injustice that he experienced. So it sounds amazing. Next one is Grey Warren by Maggie Stiefvater. This comes out in October 18th. It is a YA fantasy. I'm not going to talk too much into it because it will give spoilers. It is the third book in the Dreamers series. I forget what the series is actually called. It's a spin-off of the Raven Cycle fantasy series that I loved when I read it years ago. But that first one is like 4 books. This one is 3 books. It's a trilogy. It's the third one. It's the last one. I'm waiting for that one to come out so I can finally binge all of it. But I am excited. It's magical. It's mysterious. It's fantastical. I don't know. I'm just so excited to delve back into Maggie Stiefvater's writing, honestly. Next one is Strike the Zither by Joanne He. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. This one comes out October 25th. It is a YA historical fantasy type of book, right? When I looked more into it, I think it was like a retelling of of an old Chinese story. But basically you are in the Shin dynasty, and you have this person named Zephyr who was orphaned at a young age, but she's working for this warlordess who is trying to have her infiltrate like the enemy camp. When she goes there, she actually meets the opposing strategist, and so I think there's like a little love thing going on there. Even though the author said that there's not much romance in this book, I believe it is getting set up for the next books. So it sounds super cute. This is one of the books that I might pick up as well and read in October. The next one is called The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. It is released October 25th. It is also a fantasy book. It's the next book in the Atlas 6 series. I don't know how many books it's going to be, but basically I'm not going to talk a lot about this book because I haven't read the first book yet, but you have this society of like 6 leaders and stuff like that, right? They're tasked to basically protect this old type of knowledge, and there's a lot of dark academia vibes, magical vibes. I don't know, it just sounds crazy. The first book is about them trying to like compete and become part of the Atlas 6, and then this is the next book. So I don't want to give any spoilers. I don't want to see any spoilers, so I actually didn't read what this book is about. And I think that wraps up all the books that are coming out in October that I am intrigued about. I hope you enjoyed all of this. You know, started off with a lot of mystery, thriller, horror, just to get the spooky vibes going on, and then gave you a lot of romance in there. A lot of Christmas romance is coming out, but you know, there's a sprinkle of just regular contemporary romance in there. And then I hope you enjoyed like my little mix of hodgepodge, which if I were to say which ones I would buy, I would definitely want to read Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult sooner rather than later. I want to pick up Strike the Zither. What else? It Starts With Us. Definitely I'm going to get that. And then a couple of the horror ones I want to read, but I'll have to figure out which ones I want to pick because there is a lot. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. I think I'm going to start making it a thing where every month I'm going to, you know, release a video of the monthly releases I'm excited for. So let me know in the comments if you liked any of these books that I mentioned, if you're planning to read any of them. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around again. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.